Yo, what's up guys? We're about to record another video right here and break down Jannik Sinner versus Ben Shelton. And yeah, this is in the Indian Wells 2024. So yeah, let's get straight into it, guys. Hope you're having an amazing day. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Also, if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Chase. I coached at IMG Academy. I was mentored by Rick Macy and Nick Bollettieri, and I was a director at the Rick Macy Tennis Academy. And I also played Division I tennis at Georgia Southern University. So yeah, let's get straight into it, guys. Like the video, comment, subscribe for more. Let's go. Chest angle pointing up. Big serve. So let's go back again. So he serves, big serve. So good return actually. Sinner goes on offense here. Gets the short ball. He's moving up. He's going semi-open there. Semi-open stance. Yep, he goes inside in there. Look at his toss. Let's see his toss. Look at how far in front it is, right? Look how far in front it is. Let's see. You can see that? Perfect. Look at how far in front it is. This far in front. And he's pretty tall. So look at how tall. And then look how he lands right here. One step in. All right. It's not 4 feet in, just one step in. All right, so Ben Shelton is standing like 10 feet behind the baseline. Floating ball. Deep though, he got it back deep, but it is a floating ball. Sinner is going to dictate. He goes inside in for a winner there. So let's take a look at that again. So he gets a floating ball, so he can be really aggressive here. Interesting. Yeah, so he decides to just rip inside in there. Bruh.
Here's a quick hack to improve your vision. Try these self-adjustable glasses that are taking the world by storm.
Do you have old pictures on your PC or smartphone? Then this video is for you. Nobody believed me at first, but
Lob. Oh no, bro. Bro, why didn't you lob? Why didn't he lob, bro? Look. Let's go back. To his backhand. Didn't really make him move too much, though. Okay, volleys it up to like the front foot there. Sinner actually has a good amount of time here. He's got a good amount of time here to set up his legs. He's going open stance. Shelton is right here. Right? He's on the right side of the court here. So Sinner turns his hips well, but like, why are you going to that target? Why are you doing that? Like, make that make sense. So I get why he's going over his backhand side, because he might not want to give him like an overhead. So if you're not going to lob cross court, maybe lob down the line, bro. Right? But like, he has a lot of time here, or at least try to rip an angle or something like over here, make him move and hit something on the run. But maybe he was expecting Ben Shelton to anticipate going the other way or something. But yeah, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why he went to that target. Because it's not like you're playing some scrub, right? Like you're playing Ben Shelton, who's going to be able to hit a good volley. So pay attention. This is a classic serve plus one combo, right? Serve, first ball, you get a short ball. I'm going to rip it and come into net. So Sinner is positioned here. Sinner's positioned here. And this is a pretty standard recovery position for giving his opponent basically hitting a cross-court ball, right? This way. His ball was really short though. And notice how he popped in the air for that split. So he times the split here. He can already see it's perfect timing actually for the split because he's on the ground. Now the ball's in the air here. And now he can move and now he can fully commit to sprint to the ball. So if you look at that, that's why he's actually able to move and set up there, right? So Ben Shelton, his decision making there was this. It's very simple. Can I hit a winner cross court? If not, I'm going to go down the line. Very simple. That's why he went down the line there. That's the one reason why he went down the line there. Oh man.
Oh, there it is.
Come on, man.
You're gonna lose this. I don't want you to lose.
So pay attention there. So look, interesting. Notice how Sinner, he actually positioned, hold up on the wrong screen. Notice how Sinner, his right foot, when he gets ready on his serve, so he's more in a platform stance, right? So notice, this obviously works for him, right? But then he actually brings it up. He brings it up, and so that's interesting. It's a pinpoint, but it's just a wide stance. So just pay attention to, if you look at where his knee's bending and how he's pushing up, you can see he still gets a really good vertical component going up, right? But just know that from athlete to athlete, that's going to differ, right? Where the foot is positioned, where it feels best for you, and for you to generate that vertical component up. So it is good to experiment and find out what works best for you. But there are some general principles that you can kind of follow. Like if you get the right foot a little bit more under your body, it's going to help you vertically push up and get more vertical component in general. But it is to see what works for you and experiment with it. Jannik Sinner stays tight to the baseline. He got a short ball. Good split step from Ben Shelton. He keeps his offhand on the throat of the racket until the ball bounces. Why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? Do you think he just naturally does that, or do you think someone taught him that? I'm pretty sure probably early on someone taught him that. I would be surprised if not, but looks like he was probably taught that when he was younger. Could be wrong. Let's see there. Yeah, so this one. Yeah, I mean, look, you can totally go close stance there. You can. I just know from personal experience and with training a lot of players, a lot of times on neutral balls, when people just go for like a 1 or 2 steps, then go into close stance without like a lot more adjustment steps, when I switch them to going more open stance on just like neutral balls like this, just like normal shots where you're not really doing anything too crazy, like the default should be open stance. And I just highly recommend that players experiment with that and just see, does it work for you? Maybe it doesn't work for you, but maybe it does, right? So if you haven't tried that, I would give that a go, right? And look, he's totally made this a million times and he can do that. It's not like a wrong shot, but for like lower level players who might make a similar error like that on neutral balls, and look, tennis, you make errors, like that's just part of the game, but it's just one variable that you can tweak and see, well, maybe let me see on neutral balls in the middle, let me see if I can just go open stance and focus on getting up to the ball and pushing off and kind of going a little bit more forward if I want to be aggressive, but trying to be a little bit more athletic with it, wider stance, meaning open stance, right? Because in nature, you're going to be wider, right? Which is going to help you be more stable, in my opinion. And yeah, it just, from my experience, it just like feels way better on neutral balls in general, especially if you have issues like turning your shoulders a little bit too. For me, it helps me feel the shoulder hip separation when I'm going in open stance because the hips are more forward facing, so that when I turn, I can actually start to feel that kind of twist with what feels like a little bit less of a turn actually, rather than you turn your hips all the way sideways, right? So that's just another reason why I think that's one thing that contributes to the benefits of going open stance on just any neutral ball, any just what's your default strategy stance wise, right? The default for a lot of players is like, let me just go close stance. And you can do that. You can learn to execute that really well, but try open stance. That's what I would recommend. Great split step from Sinner. Better serve though. Look at that. Let's look at his return there. All right. First of all, this guy right here, this dude needs to get his head out the shot. That's what he needs to do first. So look, the serve is going pretty close to Sinner. So he doesn't have to take some massive step to the side, right? So the first step is you split step. And then with your outside foot, if the ball is far away from your body, you can take a step with the outside foot to get closer to the ball and just set up in a wider stance like that. But for Sinner, the ball wasn't that far away from him, so all he does now is he kind of skips that part, right? Now he just puts his weight on his outside leg, he pivots his right toe to the right side, he makes contact, he pushes off. So the order is this: you split, you get onto your right leg, your right foot, your weight is on your right leg, you push off the right leg, you make contact, and then your left foot touches. So notice that's what happened with the timing of his return. Split, weight on the right foot, loads the right foot. You can see all of his weight is on his right leg. You can clearly see that here. There's no weight on this left leg. It's abundantly clear. He's turned. He pushes off the right. You can still generate some, obviously, force from the left leg, but the weight distribution is more on the right. You're almost kind of leaning into it as well, but notice how his spine is straight. He makes contact. He's making contact here, and then his left foot touches. Look. Left foot, then right foot. Left foot, then right foot. Left foot, then right foot. Right? And notice how he's further inside the court. So before, let's see where his body was. Look, before he was here, he was in the green. He's clearly in the green of the court right here. Right? If this dude's head wasn't in the way. Right? So he split steps behind the baseline, pushes off the right, lands on the left, 2 feet inside the baseline. So look, I'm not saying you have to hit the ball as hard as Sinner and, execute it just like him. But what I'm saying is copy that component and see if I do that where I push off my right foot and I'm behind the baseline and then I land 2 feet inside the baseline on my left foot, objectively, I'm doing something, right? Now, whether you're doing the right technique and all that other stuff, that's another question, right? But if you already have good strokes, right, but your return is just not there, like try to mold your footwork after this. And it's kind of similar to volley footwork too. Look how low he's staying here as he's hitting the backhand, right? Pushes off the outside foot. Good decision to go down the line there from Sinner. Yep. So notice that. Look. So look. Ben Shelton's over here. He goes down the line. And look, obviously, like at the basic level of tennis, your opponent's on this side of the court. Yeah, hit it to the other side, right? That's like 101. But still, you can think about it like, should I go cross court? Should I go down the line? Probably not. I probably couldn't hit a winner cross court because Ben Shelton's on that side and he's fast. So he'll be able to get to any ball over there, right? But I could go down the line here, right? Because there's doubt that I could hit a winner cross court. So just by that alone, it makes sense why he went to this side, right? Obviously, this is a pretty obvious situation here though. But nonetheless, yeah, that's actually not a bad target there on the run. Yeah, like there, if you're Ben Shelton, just try to rip it like that. You could go line, or you could just rip it right at their body. So sometimes if you can't really thread the needle and they're like a tall player who is has long arms, right? They're gonna have reach, and you're probably not gonna be able to thread the needle on a volley for them when they're volleying like that. So what can you do? You can rip it at their body instead. So on the run like that, if your opponent's at the net and you're kind of scrambling like that, rip it hard as you can almost, with control, but it could be as hard as you can, right at their body. Sometimes that can be the best play. So notice how Ben Shelton plants on his back foot there, his outside foot. So good out wide serve, completes his job. Sinner's outside the court. Sinner recovers though, he's already back in position. Crazy recovery. Bro's juicing for sure. And look at his hip turn, that's fucking crazy. Look at the hip turn on Ben Shelton. Gets so much fucking power from that, it's crazy. Chest angle pointing up. His chest angle, he pushes from the ground. Ben Shelton pushes from the ground, drives his hip up in the air, and his chest is pointing up to the sky. Especially on kick serves. The chest angle is so critical, so crucial. Because one fundamental thing is, if your chest is more like this, where it's more this way, and you're going up like this with your arm and you don't have great shoulder mobility, you're going to be working more so with your shoulder range of motion. Versus if your thoracic spine has good mobility and you're working like this where your chest is now pointing up to the sky. Think about it, right? Like if I'm like this and my chest is pointing straight, but what if it was pointing up? By me going like this is like the same motion as when my chest is pointing up to the sky and then I'm going up here. So it's basically going to be healthier for your shoulder as well by doing that. So if you're a server and you have a lot of shoulder problems, look at, wait, on my kick serve, am I working like this, trying to go back like an orangutan like this, right? Or am I going up with my chest angle, right? And am I working more so across my chest? That's how you can see these guys go really hard, like really fast with their racket head speed and with their arm speed, and they're healthy, right? And it probably feels good for them, right? And it does, and it can be for you too. But they are doing that with their chest angle going up, right? And some people, they can do it naturally with the right leg drive, but some people, they don't have that naturally. So if you're not taught that, you're going to be left not knowing why is your serve shitty, right? When you could fix that, and for kick serves especially, it's a total game changer. When I fixed that, it helped me tremendously. Way more consistent, way more kick, way more power as well. Because it helped me transfer everything from my leg drive actually into my serve, instead of just kind of having it be disjointed. Okay, look at that. Look at his kick serve here. Yeah, it's crazy spin out to the side there.
Oh dear.
What?
Oh dear.
So there's actually something that I see there. So I'm curious, do you think it was a good idea for Sinner to put his weight on his left foot, his inside foot, when hitting that forehand slice? Or do you think it would be better if he kept his weight on his outside leg, his right leg, and keep his weight there, then hit the slice, and then right after contact, then touch down with his left foot, right? I'm curious your thoughts on that. Would that make better sense for him? What is going to be better for the return there? I think you'd probably be better keeping the weight on the right leg. To me, it just works better for my students as well. So I think the timing of that was a little off there. Keep the weight more on the right leg, hit it. To me, it keeps the core more connected as well. But yeah, I'm curious your guys' thoughts on that. Drop it in the comments.
Oh dear.
Go, Ben.
These are the classic
Bro.
crew trigs by Mott and Bow. By far my favorite tees. So comfortable.
Look, the kick serve. Look what I was telling you about the chest angle. Again, chest angle is pointing up. So now when he's going up like this, he's basically going like this right now. He's not working like this up in his shoulder, like here. He's going right, it's just like this basically. Like, see, this feels great for my shoulder. I don't feel anything bad on my shoulder right here because I'm working in my chest angle. I'm working across my chest, not up in this plane of motion, right? So that's a big misconception out there that people don't really understand about the kick serve, is if you're not doing this with your chest angle, you're going to be screwed. Crazy tempo there. Look at the tempo there. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's like ping pong. Goes there, comes back. Again. Good open stance. Yep. Am I going to go cross court or am I going to go down the line? Looks like Ben Shelton is guessing that he's going to go down the line based on the fact that he's kind of on... Well, look, he's actually... This is an inside-out forehand. This is an inside-out forehand. So, and he went inside in there. So it makes sense, right? Because cross court would be this way. And also, Ben Shelton is a lefty, right? So he would also give Ben Shelton a passing shot down the line, forehand on the run. So knowing that, that would create some doubt that going cross court, he'd be able to hit a winner because Ben Shelton's already on that side of the court, really, right? So because Ben Shelton was kind of guessing that way as well, Jannik Sinner said, look, there's doubt that the ball will be a winner if I hit it cross or inside out here, right? So I'm going to go down the line and keep it simple and rip to this target.
Yep.
Right? So just be aware of some of the things that might be going through his head there. And you can literally apply that for your own game at your own level. But a lot of these strategical things are very similar all the different levels. Good open stance. Bad forehand though.
Set point.
No way. No way. How does he get that? Look at that. He's starting to run, and I would even argue like he started running late. Like, when did he actually start reacting? You really need to start reacting the minute that ball touches the net. You should start running, because like maybe it never comes over, but what if it does? At least you're now in motion, right? So let's see his reaction there. He actually did start reacting quick. He started reacting before the ball was even starting to drop there. So he's sprinting. That's crazy. Crazy. So one thing to pay attention to when he's running up there is his shin angle when he's sprinting. You're going to notice this with basketball players like Kyrie Irving when they're doing crossovers. But when you're doing a fast movement forward, you're sprinting, like look at a sprinter's shin angle when they push off. Just look at the angle here when they're running, right? So look at the shin angle. You see the shin angle that they're pushing off of here? It's pretty exaggerated. You see this? The shin angle is really important. If the shin angle isn't that aggressively forward, you're going to be too upright and you're going to be slower that way. So if you want to go faster, try to replicate this shin angle here when you're sprinting forward. And that can be applied for any sport. Look at the shin angle here, aggressive. This last few steps, he had to be really aggressive to get there, right? He goes open. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy hustle there. Open stance approach shot down the line. Just be aware that he did that. Just be aware that he did that. Look at it. Gets the short ball. Open stance. Pivot the left toe to the left side. Head still at contact. Oh, shit. Look at the adjustment steps from Sinner here. Look, he serves. What can you replicate from this? He just served. Now let's see how many adjustment steps he takes now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he did 6 adjustment steps. About 6 adjustment steps there. So copy that for yourself. I serve, I plant. When the guy hits me the ball, I'm going to try taking 6 adjustment steps. So like do the little like split steps, but like fast ones, right? Like little adjustment steps like that. And if you're struggling with your adjustment steps, I highly recommend doing 1,000 jump rope per day, making that a staple of your routine. Big serve down the tee. Short ball. Can I hit a winner cross court? If yes, I'm going to go cross court. If not, I'm going to go down the line. He went cross. So look, there. Look though. Look at what happened there though. So Sinner missed the ball, right? But technically speaking, he was there. He was there. So he went cross court here. Sinner's there open stance with actually a lot of time, like a good amount of time. And look, Ben Shelton is nowhere to be found. He's nowhere to be found. He's all the way over here. If we were doing this, say, 10 times as a drill, where Ben Shelton's over here and Jannik Sinner is over here, getting this ball, making contact right here with this spacing, I think Sinner's going to win 8 out of 10 of those situations. Right? Just look at it. I mean, who's going to disagree with that? I'm curious. Drop it in the comments if you disagree. But with this, you're in a bad position here if you're Ben Shelton. He did hit like a solid backhand. It puts him on the run. Yes, he's moving, which is a difficult shot to make for sure. But like, you're playing Jannik Sinner, right? And he's off the juice as well. So he could make that. So he did miss it, though. He did miss it. He was a little off balance because he was on the run. However, that's a tough situation there, right? So sometimes you can win the point doing what I would argue is the wrong thing strategically. And it's not wrong, but it's just you're taking a little bit more risk that way. So it even happens at this level.
Jesus.
So I want to go back. Look, this is basic stuff, but I just want to break it down so you guys just understand it. So look, he goes serve body, serve and volley. First of all, great idea to serve and volley. Serve and volley is a great thing. Do it. Now, he gets a forehand ball here. I know this is basic, but like, should I go cross? Should I go line? Where should I go? I can't hit a winner cross, so I'm going to go down the line. It's that simple. It's that simple. So just be aware that's strategically what he's doing. Now, Sinner on the run here, on the run forehand, plant open stance, rip it cross court as hard as you can. Look, so that's actually a great miss. That's one of the best misses. If I were to be a little bit more picky, maybe miss it a little bit long in the corner over here instead of a little bit wide, if I'm being super, super picky. But you could even argue that that miss is better because you should have gone more angle based on where Ben Shelton was positioned. But if I were to coach him through that, I would have told him, like if I could have decided exactly where to try to hit the ball, to aim for, it would be rip it low over the net, flat, as hard as you can this way, to this target over here. A misconception is that you want to hit that really heavy spin. And at a lower level, that might be true because it's going to be more consistent, right? But at this level, you have to take risk, because if you don't take risk and really go for a big shot, you're going to have no chance to win the point. So that opportunity there is to go from defense to offense. And you're basically pulling the trigger to win the point on that shot or force an error off that shot as well. But it would have been a winner here because he was like at the net.
Not saying much. Actually, I thought
Notice how his knee, Ben Shelton's knees bend in the direction that each toe is pointing. So that's why when he generates power from his legs, you can see he has a very good vertical component going upwards, and there's no like weirdness with his hips shifting forward or anything like that, right? It's very clean. And you can see that his knees bend in the direction of his toes, right? So technically speaking, he's hitting a lot of the checkpoints there. Look, look, look. This toe is pointed this way. Good. This way. So it's bending this way. His other toe is pointing actually pretty far back. That's actually pretty crazy. But it works for him, right? And his knee is also bending in that direction. So the rule that you can apply, because look, maybe your foot positioning is a little bit different. Maybe you're a little bit more forwards facing and you're not so like turned backwards, right? So with that, what you can apply is wherever your feet are pointing to, each individual foot, the knee, the corresponding knee should be bending in that direction. That's how you can load more effectively, to be more balanced, and to generate power the most effective way. Forehand on the run. Good ball. Pay attention to that again. Look. Recovers. Right hand's on the racket. Right hand is still on the racket. He lets go right as the ball bounces. I'm just going to point out he's doing it again. That's just a tough ball.
That was fast.
By the way, drop a like, comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel. Clean overhead. Interesting. Look at what he did there, though. He put his weight on his outside leg there. Look what he's doing. He's putting all of his weight on his right leg. His left leg's not even touching the ground. Then he goes here with the head. So he shanked it. The ball was kind of closer than he thought. But look at what was in his control and look what he did. Look what actions he did, what decisions he made. He made a decision, I'm going to get my weight on my right leg. There's going to be zero weight on the left leg. So that's one drill you can also do of like, say you're not even on court. You can practice that type of drill where you split step, you get onto your right leg, you push off, you land on your left leg. And do that as kind of like a shadow drill. And practice your return footwork. Even though he missed the ball, look at what he did and think about why did he do that. And maybe I should try the same thing. A lot of adjustment steps there. This is a placement shot. Ben Shelton's guessing. If you're Ben Shelton, you have to guess because Sinner can just crush this anywhere he wants. So if you're Ben Shelton and you want to actually have a chance, unless Sinner just goes like to the middle, you're going to have no chance unless you guess really early. So guess early. Yeah. So like even there, it's like, yeah, you got to start running early. Like, let me see that again. So he's getting it there. Now, he should already start running. Ben Shelton should already start running one direction. Yeah. I guess he is moving that way. But yeah, you just have to guess and go there. So if your lesson that you can apply to yourself is like, in that situation where you're basically like out of the point, very like low percent, you're going to win the point like that, guess and go. Give yourself a chance. Because 50% chance you get it right, you're going to actually have a chance at that shot, right? So it's actually a great risk-taking strategy.
This incredible mold remover gel can restore your bathroom and tiles to their original shine in
Good open stance. Why did he come to the net off that, bro? What is he doing? Wait, what is he doing there? He hits a pin down the line. Interesting. Interesting decision there. Not sure why he did that. Crazy adjustment steps by Sinner. Look at his adjustment steps. That's insane. Look at this guy. Like, he serves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, 5 steps. Look at that. Little step, split step. I mean, it's crazy. Look at his footwork. I don't know what he's taking, but bro's footwork's crazy.
Go back.
Why didn't he come to net on that? Why didn't he come to net there, bro? So why doesn't he rip that? Why doesn't he come to net there? What do you think? Do you think he should have came to net there? Do you think he should have come to net on that shot? I'm curious. Drop it in the comments.
Oh dear. How about those?
Look at this little step. Step forward, split. Puts his strings facing forward, right? They're not flying back. His strings are facing forward. So he split steps, turns. His strings are just facing to the side, facing forward rather. Blocking. Cool. So that's it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'm curious your thoughts. And yeah, if you got any value out of this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.